welcome back to No Rose, All Thorn. We are breaking down the 8th episode of The Bachelorette. Let's just get into it. So, Tayshia is in her little suite. She's putting out some scones for no one in particular. And we get a knock, knock, knock on the door. And guess who it is? Former Bachelorette, JoJo Fletcher. And we get Chris being like, okay, guys, JoJo is going to take over for me for a little bit because I have to take my son to college. And if you remember from The Bachelor Greatest Moments Ever, his son was the one manning the camera and he was like, hey guys. So anyway, Zach gets the one-on-one date. And the one-on-one date consists of Tayshia and Zach going on a photo shoot where they have to dress up like they were getting married because this franchise loves to revisit past traumas. So let's get you into a wedding dress. Remember the last time you were in a wedding dress when you were married, but then you got divorced and you had to go through that? And she's just like, oh God, okay, my heart is beating really fast. I don't want to do this. And thankfully though, Zach is really nice and he's very calming. And they sit down for their little dinner date and Zach tells her about his life. He's like, I want to open up to you. I graduated college and soon after I graduated college, I felt really sick. So I went into the doctor and they were like, you have a brain tumor, which is intense. And I was not expecting that. And I'm so glad he's okay now. And he gets the brain tumor removed. But while he's recovering from his surgery, he also gets addicted to painkillers. And he tells this kind of harrowing story about how he was living just a very dangerous lifestyle. He was also married at the time, but his wife divorced him and he was just in a really dark place until he wanted to cash a check that he had written to himself from his dad's checks. And he goes to the bank teller and he tries to cash the check. And he says that this angel bank teller was like, this is suspicious. She calls his dad and his dad essentially sends him to rehab. And he tells Tayshia that it was successful and he's now on the board of that rehab. Tayshia was like, whoa, she was taking it all in. You know, she was obviously giving him space to talk about his story. She's a very calming presence, which I really appreciate. And she was just very encouraging and she gives him the rose. So after the one-on-one with Zach and the rest of these guys go on a group date with Tayshia, they walk in and wouldn't you know, the first thing they see is a couple of naked people. And all the guys suddenly are like, oh my God, we're gonna have to be naked again. Well, good thing they don't have to be naked because they're actually just drawing this random couple. Ed, love Ed. No, I don't. But Ed is like, I gave you an 8-pack to the guy who's modeling. And the guy's like, okay, great, awesome, thank you. So that happens. And then the woman is like, okay, now we're going to use clay to make something that represents your relationship with Tayshia. And everyone has a cute little explanation. And then freaking Blake, you know, wildlife specialist Blake, you think he would like make a raccoon or something out of the clay. He makes a penis. That wasn't the assignment, Blake. You don't make a penis out of the clay. And we get an into the moment with Spencer and he's like, yeah, no one was surprised when Blake made the penis sculpture because he thinks about sex all the time. Which is like, I didn't know we were living with Tiger Woods. I didn't know that we had a sex addict here. So then they have to do like a self-portrait. And, you know, I thought I was neurotic, but freaking Ben takes it to a new level. He's like, I'm so nervous drawing my self-portrait. And Tayshia really loves when the guys like show off their portraits. They're all trying to one-up each other with like these sad stories. And then finally, you know, Ben is like ready to show his self-portrait, but he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting something. And he runs backstage and then he comes back on stage and he is butt-ass naked. And he's like, I just want to show you all of me. My walls are down and I want to be real with you and I'm naked. And it's just like, I know what he's doing. He is physically embodying like vulnerability. His clothes are gone. His walls are down. But also Ben has a rockin' bod. So it's like a combination of I want to be emotionally raw for you, but also check out my awesome body. So good job, Ben. This affects Tayshia. Like she's just like, wow, these guys are really opening up to me. And so she's like, yeah, okay, well, this has been a fun art project. Hold on 1 second. She walks out and she's talking to a producer, I think. And she's like, this is just a lot. Not that it's bad. Like I wanted this, but it's just a lot to deal with. And then she comes back in and she's like, you guys, Thank you. I can't choose anyone as the winner on this date, so I want to spend more time with all of you. And all these guys are like, damn it! Congratulations, you played yourself, men. So then they go off to like the little cocktail party. And so Tayshia ends up giving Ben her rose. So then we have the one-on-one date with Eazy, and he is freaking jazzed about this date. He's like, I'm so excited. I'm gonna do these like football warm-up drills because I'm so excited. And so anyway, he shows up, and Tayshia, she's got like the night vision, and she's like, I'm going to scare the crap out of Eazy. And so she walks up to him and she's like, Eazy! And she scares him, and it's pretty funny. And she's like, okay, so what we're gonna do on this date is explore this ghost story that the producers have conveniently put together. They open this book and she's like, okay, the man's name is William Morgan. And Eazy's like, who's William Morgan? And Tayshia's like, exactly. He was a oil tycoon who owned this land that the La Quinta resort is on. And he fell in love with this woman named Carol Eugene. Sounds like a fake name. And they were really happy together, and she got pregnant, but then she died in childbirth. And so did the baby. And William went mad because he was so sad and lonely and depressed, and he died on this resort. So they embark on this paranormal experiment, if you will. And I think Eazy is really playing this up, which I appreciate, because he screams in this very high-pitched voice. He's like, ah! Which was really funny because it's like, okay, nothing is going to happen to you. So then they sit down, and she's wearing this really cute green dress, and she's like, well, I had a really fun time with you. And he's like, yeah, you know, I just want to be 100% honest with you. Like, I've really kind of never felt this way. And, you know, from the moment I met you, I knew we had a really great connection. But shockingly, Tayshia is like, Eazy, you're a really nice guy. And then she like reaches for the rose, and she's like, but I can't give you this rose. So she's walking him out, and he's like, is this really happening? And she's like, yes, it is. Now get in the car. Eazy is driving away, and he has like tears in his eyes and stuff. And he's just like, I don't know what's going on. And honestly, same. That was wild. That was just a random goodbye. So then we have all the men, and they're ready for the cocktail party, ready for the rose ceremony. And JoJo comes in, and she's like, hi guys, I just want to let you know that we are going to have a cocktail party. But first, we need to grab Bennett and Noah because Tayshia has had enough of your shit. And one of you was essentially going to leave tonight. And so while Noah and Bennett are waiting on the couch, I don't know how this happened. Bennett, you're a Harvard man, so I just don't know what they're teaching at Harvard, because you got tricked by the producers into giving Noah a stupid gift that was honestly just rude, and it just doesn't play well. Bennett is like, okay, I have a gentlemanly gift for you, Noah. And he, you know, brings out this box, and Bennett is like, okay, this is a red bandana, which symbolizes that you grew up in Oklahoma and I used to be a cowboy, which I'm like, what? When did Bennett ever talk about him being a cowboy in his former life? I don't know how we're getting this, but okay, sure. And then he pulls out mustached socks, and, you know, Noah, God bless him, is just sitting there being like, what? Which that's the only reaction you can have. And then he pulls out, here's the real kicker, he pulls out a book on emotional intelligence. And he goes on to say, like, emotional intelligence or self-awareness, which, how ironic, because he's clearly not seeing how much of a douche he's coming off as right now. And then finally, Tayshia comes in, and she's like, what is going on between the both of you? What is this little boy drama? I've had it up to here. Like, I don't want to deal with this. And just as we think it's going to get solved and either Bennett or Noah will be going home, we get a to be continued, which is honestly so rude. I had to sit through 2 hours of Bennett and Noah drama to not even get any eliminations. It's just astounding. The audacity the producers have. No, it's fine. So we don't know if it's going to be Bennett or Noah who gets eliminated, but I guess we will find out next week.